So this is the purest analog. This is the only product I'm aware of that is on the blockchain that pays you more for committing to stake longer, which is the whole thing that makes CDs work, right? Like that's what CDs are meant to do. I think it's pretty awesome. I'm happy with it. It's $600 billion a year just in the United States alone in CDs, and those are
Wow.
only like non-jumbo CDs. I don't even have good numbers on how much is in the 100K and up jumbo CDs, and globally, we're talking a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So I don't know why I would need my token to do anything better than just this thing. Does it do more throughput than Bitcoin? Yes. Does it do cheaper transactions? Yes. Is it less? Is it never had an inflation bug? Yep. Is it audited? Yep. Is it less likely to ever have any bugs because it can't be changed? Yes. That's all awesome. But do we even need any of those things? We just actually need the blockchain CD. But the fact that we have all that other stuff is awesome too.
Just the vote. Yeah.
So after the 52 weeks,
50 for
basically,
claim face.
excuse me, after the
Yeah.
50 weeks, that the only thing that you could do at that point then is purchase from
Yeah.
somebody else, purchase from an
Yeah.
exchange, or stake your coin.
I mean, everyone that didn't have Bitcoin at Snapshot's pretty much going to have to market buy from someone that did claim,
Okay.
or referred somebody, etc. Got coins basically, and there's nothing wrong with market buying. Like if you have a shitty deal getting in and out of a currency and you don't have a good entry and exit and you're paying high fees to do it. I mean, if your only entry and exit to Bitcoin was an ATM and you had a 20% round trip, you would be better off market buying as long as HEX traded for less than 20% of a Bitcoin, right? So if your round trip is 20%, you'd be better off market buying as long as the token was less than 20%, right? At exchange. So like if you're if the rate at which you get in and get out of Bitcoin is bad enough, then you're probably just better off buying from someone that got in at a better rate.
Got it.
It's unlikely
Now,
that the token will launch at parity with Bitcoin. it's
yeah, I'm sure you're right
it's
about
unlikely.
that. I'm sure you're right about that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're not doing this for free, Rich.
Yeah.
May I ask where
Sure.
how do you make
Yeah.
money on this?
Yeah. So I won't tell you about me specifically, but I will tell you about this thing called the origin address, which may
Okay.
it may appease your desire. So there's an origin address that gets a copy of bonuses. It does not get interest. It does not get base claims. It just gets bonuses. So if a lot of people refer people, then there's more referral payout. Then it gets a copy of the referral payout. If a lot of people claim and the crit and virality goes up, it gets that. If anything that's a bonus, that's not a base claim or interest, it gets a copy of. So it's hard to know when people will claim and how much they'll claim. So it's hard to know what it will make.
Got it.
Might make a third, might make a half, can't make a half. It's physically impossible to make a half because if it's only getting a subset of things that someone else is getting, it would need to get all the things someone else is getting in order to get half. So it's physically impossible to get half. It's hard to calculate, but it's funny when people ask. So it seems like anytime people ask about this, they're like, "How can we make that thing make less money?" And you're like, "Well, are you sure you want that? How we, if that thing has enough money to be cash positive advertising, then it might advertise. Or if it wants to list on an exchange and it costs like $1 million to list, it might do that. I can't promise anything because no one knows who it is. But like,
We'll call him
how
Joe.
poor,
Let's
how
just say
poor,
Joe. It's
how poor
Joe's
do you want
address.
to make it, right? Like, do you want to make sure that it can't be cash positive marketing, right? And then you look at the top 10 and you're like, all right, Ripple has got 40 or 60% of their coins owned by founders. They're number two crypto. Number two. They used to not be, but they are now, right? And then Lumens has got 80% of their coins in the foundation. So 20% of our market, and they're like number 9 crypto. And then you go down the list and you're like, wait a second. It turns out this like having no whales thing is a terrible idea, because the centralized coins that have like centralized ownership do marketing partnerships and media buys and like have strong dev teams because they can afford to, because they don't have this wide distribution of holders that make it so that no one can be cash positive buying a new user. Like, so it's hard. It's really, really, really hard to explain to people why having like no one, like, you need a badass entity to like Bitcoin is, it can't even sue the bitcoin.com people for like selling a fake Bitcoin. They're literally just like, yeah, rotate the logo a little bit, call it the real thing, put it higher in the list, right? Like, they can't even catch a lawsuit over that because no one has the rights to do it, because it's so distributed that people would just lose money trying to do it, right? So it can't even, it doesn't even own the .com name, retarded. Can't defend itself against imposters, you know, can't do Super Bowl ads, can't, like, it's just fucking crippled to death because there's not a large enough stakeholder.